In this video, I'll be analyzing multiple integrations for the brand Fume. If you don't know who they are, they make these e-cigarettes that help you quit vaping. They don't have any nicotine. Let's dive into the first video over here by watching the integration. Now,
this video is brought to you by Fume. Have you ever caught yourself reaching for your vape and thought, man, I should really stop putting this toxic goop into my lungs? Well then boy, let me introduce you to something that I've been really enjoying recently that's helped me overcome my bad habits. The Fume. This is the award-winning flavored air device that's changing the game. Fume isn't a vape, it's a whole new approach to better habits. There's no vapor, no nicotine, no toxic sludge, and no batteries. Just clean, non-toxic flavors designed to satisfy your oral fixation in a guilt-free way. It works by drawing delicious flavors like crisp mint and orange vanilla into your mouth and not your lungs. It's like sipping on an herbal tea instead of chugging a sticky, disgusting soda. Refreshing, natural, and way better for you. Plus, it tastes so much better than tea. Tea is disgusting. Fume uses a passive diffusion system. No electronics, no combustion. Like that, imagine that in your lungs. That's what vapes do. You just simply draw the flavor through the device like this. Okay, you don't have to suck that hard. I love sucking. My personal favorite flavor, which I'm packing right now in this bad boy, has to be the crisp mint. It's cool, refreshing, and completely guilt-free. Plus, not to mention, Fume is a fraction of the cost of other bad habits. So if you're ready to finally break away from the old and try something new, then Fume might be what you're looking for, partner. Oh, and it's not just flavors. The design of this thing is brilliant. Just listen to those satisfying clicks. I could fidget with this bad boy all day long. And this thing is obviously super portable, and you could use it anywhere because it's just flavored air. So whether you're at work, out with some friends, or just relaxing at home, Fume is always there when you need it. So what are you waiting for? Go to tryfume.com/ODS or use the QR code and be sure to use code ODS to get your free Fume topper when you order the Journey Pack today. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video. I love you. It's your turn.
Yeah, let me give a quick...
that was a sponsorship right there. Now let's go and review what were the good parts about it, what could have used work. Now the first was, did they establish context? So have you ever caught yourself reaching for your vape and thought, man, I should really stop putting this toxic goop into my lungs? Awesome how he introduced that with something which could really relate with the target audience because they are having the same issue. Now next, authentic tone. Did it feel authentic? Okay, well, you don't have to suck that hard, I just love sucking. That's quite funny, and that definitely uses a bit of self-deprecating humor and a bit of informal language, and that definitely gives it an unscripted feel, so we're going to give it some points there as well. Now, does it address doubts? Now, here we've got it going through some skepticism, make sure it differentiates it from vaping, and it wants to highlight the non-toxic, guilt-free nature. So what he mentioned here was Fume isn't a vape, it's a whole new approach to better habits. So there's no vapor, no nicotine, no toxic sludge, no batteries, just a clean, non-toxic flavors designed to satisfy your oral fixation in a guilt-free way. So language used here is very interested, and it's very interesting to the viewer. All of this goes hand in hand in keeping the viewer's attention. All in all, very solid integration, except this one thing. If you are briefing a creator, keep this in mind. The statement implies who it is for rather than explicitly stating who it is not for, leaving a gap in expectation setting. Huge thing many people forget to do. This is just as important, declaring it who it's not for, because this will reel the people who it's for even more. So if you're finally looking to break away from the old and try something new, then Fume might be what you're looking for a partner, right? It focuses on the target audience, but doesn't define who would be suitable. Someone who doesn't smoke wants to try something new and healthy. That could be a huge market there. Mention downsides. He also doesn't talk about any downsides of the product, which could make it seem too good to be true. We've had this happen time and time again. Even looking through the comments, if you don't introduce any downsides, people will just think it's too good to be true. So in your brief, have a couple of downsides which could actually be interpreted as good things as well. Like, Fume isn't that strong, so you might not feel as much of an effect after vaping, which could be a downside, but at the same time, people who are trying to quit smoking would consider that an upside. And of course, it was great personal experience. Now, in terms of FDA compliance, this could have used some work. There are no clear disclaimers, and because Fume is not an FDA-approved product, it can face perhaps a bit of scrutiny here. And if you don't have an FDA-approved product, you want to pay attention to this because maybe your integration won't get flagged right away, but months down the line, you might notice some problems arise. You're not allowed to put guarantees, and his language, help me overcome my bad habits, could be implying a strong outcome that could be interpreted as a guarantee if you don't have a little bit more definition there. So that's not too much of a problem, but just want to be wary there. And there is a bit of fear manipulation. That's not allowed by the FDA, on non-FDA approved products especially. When he says, have you ever caught yourself reaching for your vape and thought, man, I should really stop putting that toxic goop into my lungs? Imagine that in your lungs. All of that could be considered fear-based messaging to promote fume. Even though it is vaping, which already has a negative connotation, you still want to be quite careful with that. So that's kind of the integration there. Overall good integration, just needs to have a little bit more approval in the creative brief, and it would otherwise be perfect. Let's move on to the next one. Same guy, let's find another one. Here we have this guy over here.
And today's sponsor is the ever-familiar, longtime Lore Lodge supporting company, Fume. Fume is a product with a simple mission: help you quit your bad habits by taking the bad out of the habit. This simple device is made out of wood and steel and uses nothing but your breath to pull clean air through this little hole and over a stick of naturally scented fiber, mimicking the experience of your bad habits without any smoke or vapor. The idea is that when you're tempted to reach for something with a filter or a filament, you'll reach for your Fume instead, and over time, you'll stop having all of those cravings altogether. The best part is that Fume is not habit forming, so once that bad habit is kicked, it's kicked for good. It's also a fidget toy, so there's that too. Over 700,000 people have already made the switch to Fume as part of their habit change journey. So if you're ready to try it for yourself, now is the time. And if you order the Journey Pack using code LORELODGE, you'll get a free Fume topper with it, which is a little silicone thing in case you prefer that kind of mouthfeel, and it also protects the steel. If that interests you, you can click the link in our description, head to tryfume.com/LoreLodge, or scan the code on the screen to get yours today.
Overall, pretty solid integration. A couple things that we can break down. He established it was a clear problem, so help quit your bad habits by taking the bad out of the habit. So that's very clear there. Authentic tone sounded pretty authentic. Addressed doubts. The ad addresses the doubt of how Fume can replace a habit by explaining its mimetic function in long-term craving reduction. But it could use a little bit of work because it partially addresses, the how it works doubt, but it doesn't actually tackle the skepticism about its effectiveness compared to the actual habit. So what he says here is mimicking the experience of your bad habits without any smoke or vapor. The idea is that when you're tempted to reach for something with a filter or a filament, you'll reach for your Fume instead. And over time, you'll stop having all of those cravings altogether. Something that could be a little bit better, if he were to get something that introduces a bit more of a logical argument, would remove more skepticism, convert more people. Specific use case, he talked about this. Target exclusions, none of this again. Doesn't talk about who it's not suitable for. And again, no downsides. And not too much personal experience. Doesn't really talk about his favorite flavors, doesn't talk about what he thought about. Just mention a couple of objective criteria about it, and that was it, which could be a little bit of a problem. A lot of people might not relate with it and they won't buy it. So this is a bit of an integration on the poorer end. And what I would do to improve this, in the creator brief, well, before actually, this wouldn't be related to the creator brief. I'll send them a message, ask them what they liked about the product, and then just ask them, could they mention these 3 features that they like inside the integration? And the FDA measures are pretty good here. On to the next integration. So here we have the transcript.
I'll find you. But we know from episode 2 that Max resents her for this decision.
She left.
Hey, Doug, you have any big New Year's resolutions?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd like to eat more.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have, oral fixation habits that they would like to correct. In fact, a lot of people spend January telling themselves that this is finally their year. I'm gonna quit. But then that hand-to-mouth habit kicks in, and you start back up again. And that is what makes Fume so genius. It's a flavored air device to help you break that bad oral habit. No nicotine, no batteries, no vapor, just simple flavored air that you can take anywhere. Fume is a quitting solution that works. We've been working with them for years now, and they are the sponsor of this video. Now, I've told you guys before about how bad I am about biting my lips, but instead of giving into that bad habit, I started using Fume. Fume gives me something to reach for. It has a fidget-friendly design, and it looks cool. The Journey Pack has a variety of flavors, and my new favorite is the limited-time-only gingerbread. Now, I'm telling you all of this because Fume has a special January-only offer. In January, every flavor core you order is doubled. Order 1 pack, you get 2. Order order 4, you get 8. Plus, you get a free gift when you use my code SCREENCRUSH. But this double core offer ends on January 31st. So be sure to jump on this offer soon. Head to tryfume.com, that's TRYFUM.com, and use the code SCREENCRUSH to claim your double cores and your free fume topper before this New Year offer closes for good. Now, back to what I was saying.
Clear, and this guy did a much better job than the other creators. Well, a lot of people have like oral fixation habits, in fact, that they would like to correct. In fact, a lot of people spend January telling themselves it's finally the year. But then smoking kicks in and you start back up again, right? Amazing. He ties it in with the New Year's resolution. He talked about, it felt pretty authentic. He addressed doubts, talked about the use case. These two people tend to forget, so we'll mention as regular. What he did well is he talked about it from a personal experience. I'd rate this a little bit lower. I think he could have done more exploration to how his experience felt, apart from just the flavor, maybe what he felt, maybe how the actual experience of smoking it was, whatever the case may be. And the same claims go more or less for the FDA part. Moving on to the next one. So this integration, not too bad again. Let's break it down. She talked about the problem if you're trying to quit vaping or smoking, Fume is a replacement you need. There was an authentic tone. She addressed doubts, the authentic tone. And although I'm not personally giving up smoking or vaping, now that was an interesting one. I don't know if that was mentioned in the creative brief or not, but that's great that she mentioned, because a selling point is to give up smoking and vaping. So this, what she's doing is convincing the people who don't want to give up vaping and smoking and the ones who do, right? So now she's getting more of the market, and I'm assuming she's making revenue from affiliate sales. And that's why when she does sell these people, she'll actually get a percentage of the revenue. So it's in her best interest to convince as many people as possible to buy. That's what happens when you find a creator who's really good and knows how to persuade their audience. They know their audience really well, much better than you know their audience. So it's better to let the creator do their thing, because this sounds like it might have even went against the creator brief, but I'm sure it still performed extraordinarily well. And this one is very good overall. She addressed some doubts, like, but resolutions feel easy on day 1, but then day 5 rolls around, the cravings feel real, and Fume helps interrupt this whole pattern. She clearly shows the use case, and she does have a target exclusion actually. Again, no downside, so I think that's one thing Fume has missed in their creative brief. They need to have a clear mention of the downside. It's going to help build relatability and help convert a lot more people, and that's something you should be doing for sure. In terms of FDA, this pretty much met all the criteria, and so it was a pretty good integration. If you'd like to learn more about doing these creative integrations and nailing the right ones, head on over to the description and click my free guide to download it today.